Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving deep into the world of Avalon Technologies.
Avalon Technologies.
That's right. Specifically, their second quarter results for fiscal year 2025.
Okay.
And we've got some fascinating stuff to uncover here.
Yeah.
We're looking at their official financial reports and the investor presentation.
Ah,
And just a quick glance tells you there's a lot to unpack.
I bet.
We're talking soaring revenue, a brand new plant, and some seriously cool projects,
Yeah.
like in clean energy and aerospace.
Wow, sounds interesting.
So for those who need a quick refresher,
Mm-hmm.
Avalon Technologies is the leading player in the electronic manufacturing services space.
EMS.
Exactly, EMS.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is they're an Indian company with a truly global reach.
Global how?
Well, they've got full-fledged facilities in the U.S., which is pretty unique, especially these days.
Yeah, you don't see that every day. An Indian EMS company with U.S. facilities?
Right. And the reports highlight that they're a fully integrated EMS company, meaning they handle the entire manufacturing process, from design services all the way to building the final product.
So end to end. That's got to be a big advantage in terms of quality control.
Exactly. And efficiency, too.
And you mentioned the EMS market, especially in India and the U.S., is booming.
It is. And there's a reason for that.
What's that?
Well, a lot of companies are shifting away from relying solely on China for manufacturing.
Ah, the whole China plus one
Well,
strategy.
Precisely. Companies are diversifying their manufacturing locations, and India is a prime destination.
So that creates a big opportunity for companies like Avalon.
Huge. They're in the right place at the right time with the right capabilities.
It sounds like it.
Okay, so let's dive into their Q2 performance. Revenue-wise, they hit a remarkable euro 275 crores.
Okay.
That's a 36.8% jump compared to the same quarter last year,
Wow, that's impressive.
especially in the current economic climate, right?
For sure. A lot of companies are struggling, so 36.8% growth really stands out.
And it suggests they're not just riding the industry wave.
No.
It seems like they're actively outperforming their competitors.
Interesting.
And it's not just about revenue, though. Their gross margin is also strong, sitting at 36.8%.
Healthy margin.
And they've achieved an impressive 11% EBITDA margin.
EBITDA, just for our listeners, that's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Thanks for clarifying that.
No problem. An 11% EBITDA margin is a pretty significant jump.
Oh yeah, 470 basis points year over year.
Wow, that's huge.
So they're not just growing, they're becoming more profitable.
Sounds like their growth strategy is working.
Definitely. And a big part of that strategy is focusing on high profitability segments,
Like what?
like aerospace.
Mm-hmm.
They're making complex mission-critical components for aircraft engines and navigation systems.
Ah, the high-stakes stuff.
Exactly. It requires a high level of expertise and precision, and Avalon has clearly demonstrated they can deliver.
So it seems like they're not afraid to take on the challenging projects.
And clients are trusting them with those projects.
How so?
We'll take a look at their order book. It's grown by almost 20% year over year.
Giving us a glimpse into future revenue.
Right. It now stands at a whopping 1,485 crores.
Wow, that's a lot of future business.
And it suggests that clients are signing significant long-term contracts with Avalon.
Yeah, that definitely shows confidence in their capabilities.
And on top of that, they've got a new plant up and running, specifically dedicated to exports.
So they're really ramping up their operations.
Big time. And they're also receiving industry recognition for their work.
In what way?
They've been winning technical awards at major industry events.
It's always a good sign. Shows they're staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And they're not just focused on shiny new plants and awards.
Really?
They've also made some smart moves in terms of financial management.
Like what?
They've managed to improve their net working capital days by a whole 27 days.
Now, that might sound a bit technical, but it essentially means they're managing their cash flow more efficiently.
Basically, they're becoming much better at turning their inventory and receivables into cash.
Which is crucial for any growing company.
Absolutely. Especially one that's investing heavily in expansion like Avalon is.
It's all about making sure you have the resources to fuel that growth.
Now, here's the part that really blew my mind. The sheer variety of products Avalon is involved with.
Really? Tell me more.
I mean, we're talking everything from clean energy solutions like solar, hydrogen, and electric vehicles.
Wow, the whole
They
gamut.
have components for railways, automotive, and even aerospace. Plus, industrial equipment, medical devices, communications technology.
They're everywhere.
I know, right? It's incredible.
So are they just taking on any project that comes their way?
Well, it's not quite that simple.
I didn't think so.
They're actually very strategic about the types of products they focus on.
What's their approach?
They specialize in what's called high-mix, flexible volume products.
Okay, break that down for me.
So high-mix means they can manufacture a wide range of products, not just specializing in a few.
Like a restaurant that can handle both large catering orders and individual, highly customized dishes.
Exactly. And flexible volume means they can adapt their production output to meet different demand levels.
So they can handle both small batches of specialized components and large orders of more standardized products.
Right. It's a pretty unique approach.
It is. And it allows them to tap into a variety of industries, right?
Absolutely. They're not limited to just one sector or one type of product.
So it's like they've got a hand in multiple pots, so to speak.
Precisely. And that gives them a lot of flexibility and resilience in the face of market shifts.
That makes a lot of sense.
Now, I'm curious to hear some concrete examples of these high-mix products they're making.
Yeah, I want to see what this looks like in practice.
Okay, so let's start with the aerospace industry.
Okay.
They're producing something called combustion liners for aircraft engines.
Combustion liners. Those sound pretty complex.
They are incredibly intricate components that require very precise manufacturing techniques.
Wow, so high-stakes stuff right there.
Definitely. And then in the industrial sector,
Yeah.
there's building piston assemblies for fueling systems, which involves intricate injection molding and welding processes.
Ah, so very different from the aerospace components, but still requiring a high level of expertise.
Absolutely. And for railways, they've developed anti-collision signaling systems.
Oh, wow. Talk about mission critical.
I know, right? The stakes are high with those.
Definitely. So they've got this wide range of products serving a diverse set of industries.
And they're not just making these products, they're doing it exceptionally well.
How do we know that?
Just look at the awards they've been racking up. They've received accolades from some big names in the industry,
Like who?
like Collins Aerospace and Favely Transport.
Wow, those are some heavy hitters.
Yeah, real industry leaders.
So they're not just meeting industry standards, they're exceeding them.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
And it's not just about winning awards for them.
It's about...
It's about building a reputation for quality and customer satisfaction.
Which, in the long run, is much more valuable than any trophy.
Absolutely. It's about earning the trust and confidence of their clients.
And clearly they're doing something right.
So we've got a globally recognized company, a diverse product portfolio, and a booming market.
Sounds like a recipe for success.
It does, but I'm curious about how they're actually delivering on all these projects.
Yeah, what does their manufacturing setup look like? How are they managing this global operation?
Well, that's where their hybrid manufacturing approach comes in.
Hybrid, what does that mean?
They've got a Make in India strategy for both their domestic and export markets,
Okay.
and a Make in U.S. strategy specifically for their U.S. customer base.
Ah, so they're leveraging the strengths of both regions.
Exactly. It allows them to optimize for efficiency, cost effectiveness, and proximity to their customers.
So it's about being agile and responsive, tailoring their approach to the specific needs of each project.
Precisely. And to get a better sense of how this all works in practice, we need to take a closer look at their global manufacturing footprint.
Let's do it. So their global manufacturing footprint, it's actually pretty impressive.
Lay it on me.
All right, they've got a total of 12 facilities.
12.
Yeah, 12 facilities spread across India and the U.S.,
Okay.
with a whopping 10 of those located in Chennai, India.
Chennai. Interesting.
And we're talking state-of-the-art facilities here, over 570,000 square feet in total.
That's massive. So they're clearly well-equipped to handle those large-scale contracts we talked about.
Oh, absolutely. And with 65 production lines running in 2 shifts, they've got some serious manufacturing muscle.
It sounds like it. But you know what really stood out to me in their investor presentation?
What's that?
Their emphasis on their people. They highlight their experienced leadership team and skilled workforce as key assets.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It seems like they understand that success isn't just about machines and factories.
Right. It's about having the right people in place to drive innovation, manage complex projects, and maintain those high standards of quality that Avalon is known for.
Exactly. And their management lineup is pretty impressive. They've got folks with backgrounds from companies like McKinsey, GE, and even Harvard.
Wow, a pretty diverse mix of experience there.
And at the very top, they have a promoter-led board of directors.
With the chairman and managing director having won awards for entrepreneurship.
It seems like a really good balance of industry experience and fresh perspectives.
Yeah, good blend.
Which is probably crucial in an industry as complex and rapidly changing as EMS.
For sure. You need those seasoned veterans who understand the ins and outs of manufacturing.
Right. But you also need innovative thinkers who can anticipate market shifts and steer the company in the right direction.
Absolutely. Speaking of market shifts, the EMS sector is projected to grow significantly in the next few years.
That's right. But I'm curious, what's driving this growth?
Well, it's not just the China Plus One strategy we discussed earlier.
There's more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If we zoom out and look at the big picture, we see a couple other powerful forces at play.
Okay, I'm all ears.
First, there's the ever-increasing demand for electronic products across a whole range of industries.
I mean, that makes sense.
Think about it. Everything from clean energy solutions to advanced medical devices, sophisticated defense systems, even your everyday gadgets.
Right, electronics are practically everywhere these days.
Exactly. And as technology becomes more and more integral to our lives, the demand for companies that build those electronic products is only going to skyrocket.
Makes sense. So more demand for electronics, more need for EMS companies.
Exactly. And that brings us to the second major factor, the growing shift from in-house manufacturing to outsourcing to EMS providers.
So companies are realizing it's often more efficient to partner with specialists like Avalon.
Right. Companies are focusing on what they do best, whether it's designing those innovative solar panels or developing those cutting-edge medical devices.
And leaving the manufacturing heavy lifting to the experts.
Exactly. So it's a win-win.
Companies can streamline their operations, and EMS providers get a steady stream of business.
But with all these companies turning to EMS providers, what makes Avalon stand out from the crowd?
Good question. What are their key differentiators in this competitive market?
Well, first and foremost, it's their vertical integration.
Right, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
They handle everything from design and prototyping to final assembly and even after-sales services.
They're a one-stop shop for their customers, basically.
Which means they have more control over the entire process.
And can ensure a higher level of quality and efficiency.
Exactly. And they also have that unique advantage of having facilities in both India and the U.S.
Which, as we mentioned, is pretty rare for an Indian EMS company.
It gives them a competitive edge in serving clients in those two key markets.
For sure. They can optimize production based on what makes the most sense geographically and economically.
So it's about being flexible and adaptable, tailoring their approach to the specific needs of each client and project.
And don't forget, they're not just targeting any industry.
Right. They're focusing on those high-growth sectors, like clean energy, which is poised for explosive growth in the coming years.
Absolutely. They're riding that wave.
And they're well-positioned to do so.
But it's not just about chasing the latest trends.
No.
They're also deeply entrenched in industries with long product life cycles.
You're talking about aerospace and defense.
Exactly. Those sectors provide a more stable and predictable revenue stream.
So it's a balanced approach.
They've got one foot firmly planted in the exciting world of emerging technologies.
And another foot solidly grounded in those essential industries that have been around for decades.
A smart way to mitigate risk and ensure sustainable growth over time.
I like it. A balanced portfolio.
Now, no company is without its challenges.
Right, even a company as successful as Avalon.
So what potential obstacles do you think they might face as they continue to grow and evolve?
Well, one challenge that comes to mind is competition.
Yeah, as the EMS market grows and becomes even more attractive.
We can expect to see more players vying for a piece of the pie.
And that means Avalon will need to stay agile and keep innovating to maintain its competitive edge.
Can't just rest on their laurels.
Right. They need to keep pushing the boundaries, maintaining those high standards, and finding ways to differentiate themselves.
So continuous improvement is key.
Absolutely. Another challenge, and this is something a lot of companies are facing these days,
What's that?
navigating those global economic uncertainties.
Yeah, the whole world feels a bit shaky right now.
Think supply chain disruptions, geopolitical tensions, fluctuations in raw material prices, all those things that can impact a company's bottom line.
So it's not just about running a tight ship internally.
No, they also need to be prepared to adapt to those external forces that are often beyond their control.
Agility and adaptability are going to be essential.
Absolutely. So even with all their successes, Avalon can't afford to become complacent.
Right, they need to stay sharp and keep evolving.
Now, let's go back to something we touched on earlier. Their high-mix, flexible volume manufacturing model.
Okay, remind me what that means again.
So high-mix refers to their ability to manufacture a wide variety of products.
Instead of specializing in just a few.
Right, it's like a master chef who can create both delicate pastries and hearty stews with equal skill.
So they're not a one-trick pony.
And flexible volume means they can adjust their production output to meet different demand levels.
So they can handle both small batches of specialized components and large orders of standardized products.
Exactly. And this ability to cater to diverse needs is a big advantage in today's fast-changing tech landscape.
It means they can work with clients in cutting-edge fields like clean energy, where volumes might still be relatively low.
While also serving established industries like aerospace, which need high-precision components in larger quantities.
It's like having a restaurant that can cater to both intimate gatherings and large banquets.
With a menu that appeals to both adventurous foodies and those who prefer classic comfort food.
And remember those examples they gave in their presentation?
Oh yeah, those combustion liners, the piston assemblies, and the anti-collision systems.
Those are all completely different products requiring specialized manufacturing expertise.
And Avalon can seamlessly switch between them.
It's like having different teams of expert chefs, each specializing in a different type of cuisine.
But all working together in the same kitchen.
Exactly. And those examples highlight a key part of their strategy.
Which is,
They're not just making any product.
they're going for those complex, mission-critical components that often have long product life cycles,
So they're combining high-mix capabilities with a focus on high-value products.
creating a really strong value proposition for their customers.
And speaking of value, we talked about their impressive improvement in net working capital days.
Right. That's all about efficiency and financial health.
Essentially, it's a measure of how quickly they can convert their investments into cash.
And by reducing their net working capital days by 27 days,
They're demonstrating that they're becoming much more adept at managing their cash flow.
which is crucial for any company.
But especially for a growing company like Avalon that's investing in new facilities and expanding its operations.
They're making sure they have the fuel to power that growth.
So they're not just cooking up great products.
They're also managing their resources effectively and keeping the cash flowing.
Now, let's not forget about the human element.
Right, the people behind the scenes.
Avalon's investor presentation really emphasizes their highly skilled workforce and their experienced management team.
It's like they recognize that their people are a crucial ingredient in their success.
Just like a great chef knows that the quality of the ingredients is just as important as the recipe.
Exactly. It's not just about having the best technology or equipment.
It's about having a team of talented and dedicated people who are passionate about what they do.
And in many ways, a company is like a well-coordinated kitchen.
You need skilled chefs, sous chefs, line cooks, even dishwashers, all working together seamlessly.
To create that successful dining experience.
And it's clear that Avalon is investing in their people.
How so?
They've got robust training programs in place, and they're actively promoting from within.
That shows a commitment to nurturing talent and creating opportunities for growth.
It's a culture that values both experience and fresh perspectives.
Just like a great kitchen needs seasoned veterans and eager newcomers.
To keep things interesting and innovative.
Now, shifting gears a bit, let's zoom back out to the industry as a whole.
Oh.
We've talked about the impressive growth of the EMS market, but what about specific trends within particular industries?
What are the hot dishes on the manufacturing menu, so to speak?
Well, the one that immediately comes to mind is clean energy.
Right, we've already discussed its projected growth and Avalon's strategic positioning there.
But I'm curious, what else is driving this growth?
Is it purely government targets and policies?
Or is there something more to it?
Are consumers also demanding these sustainable solutions?
It's a great question. And the answer is, as usual, multifaceted.
Okay.
Government initiatives and incentives are definitely playing a big role.
Like those ambitious renewable energy targets in India.
But there's also a growing consumer demand for sustainable products and solutions.
People are becoming more aware of their environmental impact.
And that's translating into a willingness to invest in clean energy technologies.
Even if they cost a bit more upfront.
It's like people are increasingly willing to pay a premium for organic ingredients or sustainably sourced seafood.
So it's a combination of top-down policies and bottom-up consumer demand.
Creating a powerful momentum for the clean energy sector.
And this is where Avalon's focus on high-mix, flexible volume production really shines.
They can adapt to the evolving needs of this dynamic industry.
Scaling up production as demand increases.
Like a chef adjusting the menu based on what's popular.
Exactly.
And remember, they're not just focused on clean energy.
Right. They've got those long-term contracts in more established sectors like aerospace and defense.
providing a steady and predictable revenue stream.
So it's a balanced approach.
One foot in the exciting world of emerging tech and the other in those essential long-haul industries.
The smart way to play it.
And they're doing all of this with a strong commitment to quality and customer satisfaction.
Right. We saw all those awards and recognitions from industry giants.
That's a testament to their dedication to exceeding expectations.
Like earning rave reviews from the toughest food critics.
Exactly.
And that dedication to quality is essential for building those strong long-term relationships with clients.
In any industry, but especially in EMS.
Trust and reliability are paramount.
Customers need to know they can count on their EMS partner
Just like diners want to know they can count on their favorite restaurant.
to consistently deliver.
So it seems like Avalon has built a solid reputation for doing just that.
Delivering on its promises and exceeding expectations
And that reputation, like a Michelin star for a restaurant.
is invaluable.
Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm curious to hear your take on Avalon Technologies.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways that stand out to you?
What are the main ingredients in their recipe for success?
Well, I'd say Avalon is firing on all cylinders.
Like a perfectly synchronized kitchen during the dinner rush?
They've got a strong financial foundation, a smart growth strategy, a diverse and high-value product portfolio, and a global manufacturing footprint that allows them to serve clients all over the world.
Sounds like they've got all the bases covered.
But what really impresses me, beyond the numbers, is their commitment to quality, innovation, and their people.
Yeah, they really seem to understand that their success ultimately hinges on the dedication and expertise of their workforce.
It's like they've created a culture where everyone feels valued and invested in the company's success.
That's a great observation.
And it's something that often gets overlooked in those purely financial analyses.
A company's culture and values can be just as important as its financial metrics.
Just like a restaurant with a positive and supportive work environment is more likely to attract and retain great staff.
And create a more enjoyable dining experience for its customers.
Exactly. And in Avalon's case, it seems like they've really nailed it.
Nailed what?
Creating that culture that fosters innovation, collaboration, and a commitment to excellence.
That's the secret sauce right there.
The recipe for success in any industry.
But especially in the fast-paced, constantly evolving world of EMS.
So they've got all the right ingredients and the right recipe.
To continue to thrive in this demanding market.
You know, as we get towards the end of our look at Avalon Technologies, I keep thinking about their focus on those long-term contracts.
Especially for those complex, high-value products.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Seems like a really smart move, but I'm wondering about the potential downsides.
Downsides.
Yeah, especially in a sector known for rapid technological change.
I see what you mean.
Isn't there a risk of getting locked into older technology or missing out on those newer, shinier opportunities?
That's a great point, and it really gets to the heart of how Avalon manages risk.
Risk management.
Think of it like this.
Yep.
In fine dining, securing long-term contracts with good suppliers is essential.
Why is that?
It guarantees you a steady supply of high-quality ingredients.
Even when there are shortages or prices go crazy.
Exactly. And in the same way, for Avalon, those long-term contracts provide a predictable revenue stream.
Like a safety net.
Precisely. A safety net in a market that can be, well, a little unpredictable at times.
So even if demand suddenly shifts or a new technology pops up,
Those agreements give them a buffer.
they can adapt more gradually.
Exactly. And remember, they're focusing on those complex, mission-critical products.
Things that are built to last with long life cycles.
Right. Think aerospace, defense, certain industrial applications.
Industries that aren't as affected by those short-term market swings.
It's like a fine dining restaurant with a menu of classic dishes,
Those timeless favorites that never go out of style.
even as those trendy dishes come and go.
Okay, I'm with you. It's a balance. They're not ignoring the exciting new stuff like clean energy.
But they're also anchoring themselves with those reliable, steady industries.
Smart move. It reduces risk and ensures sustainable growth.
Now, something else that stood out to me was their emphasis on design for manufacturing.
DFM.
They highlighted it in their presentation, and it seems to be a big part of their success.
But I gotta admit, I'm not an engineer.
No worries.
Can you break down what DFM actually means? Why is it such a big deal for an EMS company?
Sure. Imagine you're creating a new dish for your restaurant.
Okay, I'm following.
You've got this amazing combination of flavors,
Delicious.
but you haven't really thought about how your kitchen staff will actually prepare it.
Oh, like if it needs special equipment or it takes forever to make?
Exactly. It could slow down service, frustrate your staff, create chaos in the kitchen.
So DFM is about avoiding those problems,
Yeah.
making sure the product can actually be made.
Right. It's about considering the manufacturing process from the very start in the design phase.
Not designing something and then figuring out how to build it later
They integrate the two processes.
to make production as smooth and efficient as possible.
Exactly. It's like designing a dish that not only tastes fantastic, but is also easy for your kitchen staff to prepare.
Ah, so everyone's happy, the chefs and the diners.
Exactly. By reducing those complexities and potential errors.
They can deliver high-quality products more efficiently,
and at a lower cost.
which keeps their customers happy and boosts their profits.
A win-win situation.
And it strengthens those long-term relationships, reinforces their reputation, and helps them secure more contracts.
It all ties together.
Okay, so we've covered their strategy, their quality focus, their financials, their global reach.
Pretty much the whole picture.
But one last thing I wanted to touch on is their manufacturing footprint.
Their facilities.
We talked about their 12 facilities in India and the U.S.,
Right, spread across those two key markets.
but their investor presentation also mentioned plans for expansion.
They're not resting on their laurels.
Definitely not. It sounds like they're gearing up for even more growth.
Well, it makes sense considering everything we've learned.
Like a popular restaurant, adding more tables and expanding its kitchen.
To keep up with demand.
So what are the factors driving this expansion?
First, you've got the overall growth of the EMS market.
More companies outsourcing, more demand for capacity.
Creates opportunities for companies like Avalon to grab a bigger slice of the pie.
And second, there are those regional growth opportunities we discussed.
Like the clean energy boom in India.
Exactly. They're strategically positioning themselves to capitalize on those trends.
It's a smart move to ensure they have the capacity and the capabilities to meet future demand.
They're setting themselves up for success.
Always thinking ahead.
Well, there you have it, folks. Avalon Technologies, a company on the move, riding the wave of industry trends, and positioned for a bright future.
Sounds like a recipe for continued success.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from those impressive financial results to their smart growth strategy, their commitment to quality, and their ability to adapt to this ever-changing market.
A lot to unpack.
But as we wrap up, I want to emphasize that Avalon's success isn't just about numbers and strategies.
It's about people, too.
Exactly. Their dedicated workforce, their experienced leadership team, and that culture of innovation and excellence they've built.
Those are the ingredients that truly make them stand out.
It's a reminder that behind every successful company, there's a team of passionate individuals who make it all happen.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of Avalon Technologies.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.